Hello, as always, Frontchill fam, to another installment of Big Proust, Little Faust, where we interview various members of the Frontchill Association and friends and family thereof. As always, we start this off with big thanks to Yev, Nomad, Doomsayer, and Backblaze for helping make this all happen. And if you want to see different content like this, let them know. Shout us out on social, at Frontchill everywhere, and then also at Backblaze to let them know that Frontchill is cool and you like them. But today, I am joined with an exquisite individual who we will get into with right now. What is your name?
Hi, my name's Forrest McDonald.
What is your quest?
Search for the Holy Grail.
What is your favorite color?
Blue. No, wait, green.
What movie reference do you feel embodies you as a storyteller / gamer?
Monty Python quotes always come up because there's so many of them that people relate to so well. But I really feel that sometimes they're distracting. I find that the quotes from Indiana Jones, such as snakes, why did it have to be snakes? Nazis, I hate these guys, tend to be more story focused. You can use the snakes anytime someone is coming up against an enemy or opponent they really dislike, and it sort of fits while breaking the seriousness of the situation a little bit. Plus, it's Indiana Jones. How do you go wrong?
Excellent. And then, of course, hit us with your pronouns, and if you're active on social, etc., where the viewer can see or hear you as of this interview.
Sure. I prefer he, him, his. And I appreciate you asking for everyone so that the normalization of identifying pronouns increases, because I think that's going to be key. As far as social media, everything is pretty much the same. It's Forrest McDonald at Twitter.com, Forrest McDonald at Facebook.com, Forrest McDonald at Instagram.com. There's a theme there.
Excellent. And
I like to keep it simple.
Yeah. What games are you playing right now, in general?
Right now, I'm playing a ton of 5th edition D&D. I am in a homebrew Eberron campaign every Monday night. I'm in a slightly homebrewed version of the Ghost of Saltmarsh hardback campaign book on Tuesday night. I'm also in a completely homebrewed everything 5e game on Thursday night at a place called Game House, which is local here in Camarillo. I am running a heavily modified version of Curse of the Frost Maiden for every other Saturday, and I am also running a modified version of both of the beginning sets for 5e every third Sunday or so for a bunch of brand new players.
Very cool, very cool. What is a quintessential moment in your life associated with gaming?
Goes way back to when I was playing in high school. We were playing in the Forgotten Realms in the Gray Box when it first came out, and we were having a lot of fun with some different characters. I had made a cleric that I had modeled after Indiana Jones, going back to that. And in a 14th or 15th level dungeon, the 7 of us got completely separated and scattered all across the map. I ended up in Kara Tour, which was fairly new at the time, and that was the Oriental Adventures setting to sort of bring that flavor into the campaign. And my character returned by arriving just in the nick of time when the rest of the party had been reconstituted and were facing defeat at the hands of our BPEG. I came riding across the horizon on a horse like a bat out of hell. They were all super excited to see me. I rode past them as fast as my horse could yelling run, because I had managed to get about 1,500 orcs and ogres angry, and they were chasing me as fast as they could. And the big bad evil guy and some of his henchmen got trampled in that, and the party got away. Completely unintentional on my part.
Nice. Excellent. For another little thought experiment, of characters you've played, party, date, rehabilitate. Similar to marry, date, kill.
Okay. See, I'm sorry, it was play.
Party.
Party?
Date.
Okay.
And rehabilitate.
Gotcha. So party, would probably be my paladin. He is the quintessential lawful dumb. Super nice guy. Doesn't try and be overbearing with the charisma. Likes to lead by example. Has started many bar fights outside, giving a plate of food to someone homeless, and had to run back in to sort of pick up the slack. Date would be my bard, Eamon. I played him for quite some time. He was an Irish minstrel based in the Dalelands. Managed to do a lot of insane stuff with him. Super high charisma. Very much the love him and leave him type, which would be perfect. And rehabilitate would have to be my rogue, Calmaro. Not a nice half-elf at all.
Excellent. That definitely tells a story. It's great.
Yep.
Moving right along. In the context of gaming/storytelling, what is your favorite word or term or acronym?
I think it all boils down to my favorite phrase in all of gaming. You describe a situation, you describe something's happening, you turn to the person whose turn it is and say, what do you want to do? Simply because I love the agency that implies, and if you're running the game the way I think games should be run, that question really does now put the ball firmly in the court of the player character, where they can do pretty much whatever they can think of.
Excellent. Love it. What is one you would like to see used more?
I don't know if I can put it quite as a phrase or an acronym, but I think the thing I'd like to see used more are safety tools, particularly if you're playing games at conventions or with players you might not be familiar with. Just saying, hey, is there anything that is disturbing to you? Are you arachnophobic? Are you agoraphobic? Anything like that. And then having an X card or a way where the player can, put up an X or point to a card on the table or something so that everyone at the table knows to break immersion for a moment, do a quick check-in, make sure folks are all right, find out what's going on, and then get back into the story in a way that makes sense for all the players. Doesn't have to be super elaborate, doesn't have to be fancy, but having that ability just goes a long way for making players more comfortable, and the more comfortable they are, the more they're freed up to focus on the crazy creativity and the wacky, what am I going to do to get out of this situation? Because they're not in the back of their mind holding on to that, oh, what if we talk about this, or what if that comes up?
Love it, yes. I've been working on incorporating those into games. It is fantastic. Cool. What is something in this context everyone is sleeping on?
Ooh. You mean in the context of safety tools, or just in the context of things in general for gaming?
Things in general for gaming. Something you're like, nah, everyone needs to look at this.
Gotcha. I think trying to find ways to maximize all of the tools at our disposal while minimizing distractions. And I know that's such a big honking tool, but because of the pandemic recently, we've been using iPads and iPhones and computers more so that we can game remotely and keep those connections active, which are brilliant. But particularly at in-person tables, those also bring with them distractions. So trying to find ways to keep players invested, even if their character doesn't have the spotlight or might not even be on stage. Ways to do that is if you've somehow managed to split the party, have the players that are not engaged roll dice for some of the bad guys or make decisions for some of the monsters, give them something else to do, help keep them engaged, because the more all of your players are engaged, the less you're going to have to repeat key parts of the story, the easier it is for them to pick up when it's their turn, and it just seems like it's a more smooth experience, and people aren't sitting around for 20 or 30 minutes really with nothing to do while the other folks get that all fun.
Beautiful. And then, sort of, still in the gaming context, what is something that is overrated?
Sorry, I'm thinking about that, and I haven't narrowed it down in my head yet, but it's definitely going to be a mechanic or a game system. Simply because no matter how good a game system is designed or a particular mechanic, if it makes it hard for the players to tell their stories or get their characters to do what they want to do, then that's a drawback. I'm going to go very general, and I apologize for the vagueness, but just say unneeded, very specific subsystems. So, like, if you've got a rule set, and there are some that do this better than others, but if you have a system that has combat, but they try and come up with a different system for social combat, and then they have a different subsystem for social combat for people who don't speak the same language natively. I think you're getting into too much minutia, and the time it takes to get some of those details, which you may only use once or twice in your career, right, comes at the expense of the flow of the narrative and the story and the conversation. So I'm a big fan of systems that have more generic rules systems, or ways to adapt to situations when existing rule set so that you can make the roll, remember it if it comes up again, but keep moving forward with the story.
Nice, yes. Cool. All right, shifting just a little. If I were to say pinnacle of storytelling, what jumps to mind? Lord of the Rings, obviously. Simply because there's so much depth and so much detail. But when you're reading the books, if you skip the Elvish poetry, which I recommend doing the first time you read through it so that you can keep focused on the elements of the story, you find that all of that backstory doesn't get in the way of the story. It comes up where appropriate and enhances it. I love it when there's as much detail as you want, but no more than you need, so that you can kind of pick and choose how much you want. I know some people that have memorized the Elvish poetry in Elvish. I know some people that have read the series 6 or 7 times and have never read a single line of it. And both of those, and anything in the middle, is supported. I really like that. As far as newer stuff goes, I'm a big fan of some of the Harry Dresden files, simply because he has such a knack of taking diverse elements from different mythos, different mythologies, different genres almost, and putting them together in a way that makes the world seem larger and more multidimensional. Having vampires and werewolves, but fairies and Christianity and demons and devils and Cthulhu-type mythology, all rolled into one coherent story. It's very challenging to do, but he does it in a way where everything is unique, everything has its own place, everything has its own spotlight. And I think that's a key when you're trying to tell your own stories, is find ways to put spotlights at different times on different things, so that your characters and your world can explore that depth. Oh yeah, Jim Butcher, excellent stuff. Yes. Yeah, I'm a couple of books behind on that, so I need to catch up.
I think everyone's a couple books behind on that, because you released those two sort of like within a month of each other.
After 2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, great. What is a class race combo or gaming genre you'd love to try?
So I thought I had played just about everything in D&D, but I really sit down and looked at it. There were several things I hadn't done. I've been playing since AD&D, and the game I'm playing on Thursdays is the first time I have ever played a druid in my entire gaming career. So I'm finding there's little things like that. One of the 5th edition D&D race class combinations I'm trying to figure out how I want to explore is Tiefling Barbarian. Just because I don't know that I've ever seen that combination. I don't know if it'll really work, but it seems like that would be something different. And having that, single word name to describe the Tiefling sort of state of mind could be very interesting when you fold that into the context of a barbarian. Almost like a tribal given name. As far as genres I'm looking to explore, I've only had a chance to play it once, but I was completely enamored with it, and that's a game called Blades in the Dark. It's a very, very storytelling-driven RP experience where the rules are very simple. You have just 2 or 3 systems that cover everything. The storyteller never has to make rolls. You make all of the rolls against what he said, so everything is in your hands. Good dice rolls, on you. Bad decisions, on you. Flubbed opportunities, on you. I like that, and I also like that still gives the storyteller from that system so much to do that they don't feel like now they're not playing.
Awesome. Yeah, I just heard about that system recently, and yeah, it looks neat.
Yeah.
What is a class race combo or genre you'd not like to try?
I'm not the most fond of a lot of the humanoid or monster races that are becoming a little more prevalent in D&D. I have no problem with people choosing to play them for their own storytelling. I totally get that. I find that I haven't explored all the stories I want to tell just playing humans. Forget about dwarves and elves and some of the much more common races. And I think to do some of those creatures justice, you really need a different mindset. And I don't know if that's a mindset I would enjoy inhabiting for long periods of time. I will say, sort of to counter that, however, that in the Eberron game, where all of the races have a very different take on how they're played, I am playing a goblin rogue / scholar, which is very interesting. I don't think that same character set in, say, the Forgotten Realms or some of the other more traditional settings would be as enjoyable, just because of the mindset and sort of the stereotypes that go with that.
Yeah, no, totally. All right. And then wrapping up here, if heaven exists, would you rather the gate interview be proctored by the original Proust, Bernard Pivot, James Lipton, or Sean Evans of Hot Ones?
James Lipton, followed very, very closely by Sean Evans, just because I didn't realize how much experience and how long James Lipton had been doing stuff. And the fact he'd been doing that for so long, but had like 50 or 60 years of a career, including spending some time as a pimp, literally, before that. I just think that opportunity would be so interesting and so one of a kind. I would have to do that. However, Mr. Evans from the Hot Ones has such great questions that are meaningful and potent, and managing to entertain the people he's asking, even as they're both sweating through these hot wings, makes him a very close second. If James were not available, I would happily take him.
Excellent. Great. And that concludes our questionnaire. Thank you so much, Forrest, for joining us for this, and I can't wait to see this up online for others to enjoy. As always, we thank our somewhat mysterious and not so mysterious benefactors, Nomad, Yev, Doomsayer, and of course Backblaze. Again, shout outs on all cases. Let us know how you're liking the content. Let them know so that we can keep going. All right. Thanks again, and bye-bye.
Take care.